AITA for not reimbursing my ex for cleaning fees caused by our daughter having an accident in the car. My ex and I have a 7-year-old daughter. I have full custody, but I allow him to visit her and take her out when he's in town a couple times a year. My daughter has an underdeveloped bladder and bowel issues that makes it nearly impossible for her to hold it when she has to go to the bathroom. Once she tells us she has to go, we have about 2 minutes to get her to a bathroom. Because of this, she wears pull-ups during the day and diapers at night, during long car rides, and when we're going somewhere where it's expected that there will be long lines for the bathroom. My ex was in town recently and asked to take our daughter to an amusement park/water park. I said yes, reminded him of her condition, and packed a bag with diapers, pull-ups, a change of clothes, etc. with more than enough supplies for the trip. He decided he knew better, threw away the bag, and took her to buy some underwear. She fell asleep in the car and ended up having a pretty big accident. My ex cleaned her up and cleaned the car as best as he could, then drove her home. I took my daughter inside and got her situated, then went out to talk to my ex. He had the gall to ask me to split the cost to get the car cleaned since it was a rental. I refused because this wouldn't have been an issue if he had listened to me. We started to argue and I eventually went inside to take care of my kid. A couple days later he sent me a Venmo request for half the amusement park tickets and half of the cleaning fee. I declined, and now I have his family messaging me to say I have to split the cost because our kid made the mess. Some friends are telling me to just split it with him. AITA for not splitting it? Comment. He's her father. Not Ned from next door. There is literally zero excuse for him not knowing and understanding her medical condition. Given that you informed him, warned him, and provided him with supplies, the accident was just karma at its absolute finest. Don't give him a cent. Your shared child, with appropriate accommodations in place, didn't cause this. His daughter, in the undies he bought, because he must know more than the custodial parent, had an accident. Had he been a little less egotistical and paid a little more attention, this never would have happened. Same, I read that and went, how do you know someone hadn't tried it on? How do you know it's not cleaned with some harsh chemicals that will give her a rash? But then clearly someone who refuses to acknowledge a medical condition isn't going to care about such things either. I worked at a kids' clothes store, and we had underwear multipacks in plastic that snapped shut. They could be opened and often were, as parents wanted to look at the size/cut. I was able to roll the underwear back up and no one would ever know that the pack had been opened. I only ever had one issue with underwear in years. Someone returned underwear they had bought because it had a skid mark. A co-worker must have accepted a return on used and soiled underwear, taking the customer at her word, which I did. Wash your stuff. I used to work the customer service desk at a large national department store with a ridiculously generous return policy, and I second this. You wouldn't believe the amount of stuff that gets returned these days, and the condition. We do our best to suss out the used stuff, but please don't rely on the conscientiousness of an overworked minimum wage employee who is yelled at by 20% of the customers she helps. You also wouldn't believe the stuff people do in department stores. One customer took a dump on the floor and piled merchandise on top of it. Another removed a baby's dirty diaper and left it on a mannequin. People are gross. Wash your stuff. ETA, if you're buying stuff from a large chain, you are much more likely to get pristine, unworn items if you order them online than shop in store. Online orders usually come straight from the warehouse. Even without her medical issues, this is her dad. Plus it is her dad who only sees her occasionally and the rest of the time Op handles everything. So one of the few times he is with his daughter there is an expense and he wants Op to pay half? Like, WTF. Op probably pays 90% of expenses related to the child, even if there is child support, and yet he wants her to split the cost of something he chose to do. This reminds me of a similar situation in my extended family. The mom and dad had one daughter and been divorced since she was 5 or 6. When she was 17, the mom died. He fought everything related to paying for her, even medical deductibles, arguing that the mom's estate should continue to pay half for the daughter. To hell with the fact the daughter lost her mom, and we're not talking thousands of dollars. We're talking arguing because he won't pay the $20 deductible for her office visit without the mom's estate paying her half as agreed upon by the court. What an he was. Next story 2. Whipped up for canceling Christmas? I am tired of planning vacations for my ungrateful husband and his twin. My husband and I have been together for 7 years, and married for 3 months. We both work high-stress jobs, With high incomes and no children, we are frugal and spend our money on savings and trips. In our relationship, I plan our retirement, keep track of finances, host friends/family, arrange gifts, make appointments, and plan our vacations. We travel a lot. For his part, he does laundry and cooks and does the dishes more than me. He gets along well with everyone and is the more easygoing one. On our trips, I've asked my husband to help me with tasks ranging from helping me plan beforehand, to finding an Uber. Usually he ignores me until it's too late and I have to make the decision, or he makes mistakes, getting an Uber to the wrong place, or forgetting beach towels I asked him to bring. Mistakes aren't a big deal, but he places the blame for them on me. This issue is not new to us. For our wedding I did 99% of the planning and he promised in return that he would plan a honeymoon. Right before the wedding he looked up a Costco package that was almost twice as expensive as we'd agreed to spend, and that didn't have guaranteed spots. What I really wanted him to do was not to find an all-inclusive unaffordable trip, that we didn't go on, but do something that was tailored to us. My husband also has a twin brother that often comes along with us. Like my husband, his twin doesn't help plan and he had never thanked me for planning trips for us. He behaves like coming on the trips is a gift to me. Outside of this, I've tried to be his friend, but I feel no reciprocity. I get him gifts for his birthday and holidays, text and call him, and include him, i.e. asking him if he wants me to write his name on a Mother's Day card when he hasn't helped pick a gift. Right now, we're all on a flight back from Hawaii where I researched hotels and flights, put together schedule, booked hikes and dinners, rented a car, etc. When I brought up the fact that they complained a lot and never said thank you, my brother-in-law said that he told me the sunset was nice and that is the same as a thank you. When I told this to my husband and explained how upset I am with both of them for not helping me, not yelling but definitely not in a calm way, he told me to myself. My husband also said that if I cancel future trips that I'm no longer invited to my in-laws' Thanksgiving, the one thing his mom plans. I've already planned and booked an elaborate 3-week Christmas trip to Italy for the 3 of us. They say they want to go, while doing nothing, but I just feel exhausted. At this point, I'm considering canceling it entirely, canceling my own portion, or canceling one or both of their portions and going solo. Would I be the asshole if I took one of those paths? Comment. But she does need to cancel anything extra. She's booked tours, dining, transportation. I would leave flights and the hotel. If her contribution means nothing then they don't need it, right? Yeah, no. In a similar vein, I would say a soft YTA to yourself. You've honestly let this go on far longer than it should have, and then to marry into that? I doubt he was great for 6 years and 5 months, only to turn into a terror the second you married. I want you to repeat after me. Mills, mediocre Thanksgiving is not worth the headache of dealing with these men who cannot act like adults. You owe yourself much better. Think of how amazing your trips would be if you only had to worry about planning for one. Your husband and his brother sound exhausting. I would make that Christmas trip to Italy for only one person, and enjoy not going to the in-laws for Thanksgiving. NTA, but your husband and his weaponized incompetence sure is. If something is stopping you from doing that, I think you should sit with that and learn its name and learn where it comes from. I know that I'm just a random internet stranger, but I don't like how your husband spoke so disrespectfully to you and is effectively trying to control/police your perfectly normal reaction by not allowing you to go to the holiday that you enjoy, specifically because you have significantly less work to do. Am I understanding correctly that no one helps the host out for these events? Is there a reason why everyone doesn't help out for every holiday/event? Does everyone not bring a dish to share with the family and the host usually does the main dish? Do attendees not help clean up and do the dishes of the host? I only ask because this is normal in my household and family. If we are not contributing by doing dishes, cleaning up before and/or after the event, or providing help however the host asks, we provide financially for the person hosting or we provide a gift to thank them for having us. One person doing all of that sounds incredibly exhausting, so I don't blame you for being frustrated with this dynamic at all. You definitely deserve to be respected, valued, and thanked for the work that you put in to make these vacations and the parties. Girl, you've been so gaslighted in your childhood, I don't think you see how gaslighting your husband is. Sounds like a narcissist. And you sound like a convenient free laborer. If you aren't screaming/cursing/smashing stuff, there is no way you are expressing your upsetness incorrectly. You have a right to express how upset you are any way you deem fit as long as you aren't abusing others. This is just him avoiding responsibility and gaslighting you into think you are the problem? Honestly, I usually say therapy or couples counseling, but truly run. He told you to F yourself. I hope it's not too late for an annulment. 2-time divorcee right here, all before 35, and I couldn't be happier. I grew up with emotionally abusive parents and compounded that abuse in my later relationships. It's really not easy to see when you're in it, but I can promise you are not free of the shit you dealt with as a kid. Try something. Spend a week or 2 by yourself and see how you feel, like deep nervous system feel. That's how I knew I had to leave my ex. We spent some time apart and I had never felt more at ease because I wasn't living to please and cater for someone else.